seeking forgiveness. So I'll begin by offering prayers. Om Adnyanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagna Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvatanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschattarishtarane Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So I would like to share the screen and I would like to see if we can look at the verse, one verse that I would like to bring to your attention just to begin with. So we will begin by reciting a prayer that is sung by Indra Dev in glorification of Bhagavan Krishna. Everybody can repeat after me if you would like. Namastubyam Bhagavate
Namastubhyam Bhagavate
Purushaya Mahatmane
Purushaya
Mahatmane
Vasudevaya Krishnaya
Vasudevaya Krishnaya
Satvatam Pataye Namaha
Satvatam
Satvitam
Pataye
Pataye Namaha
Namastubhyam Bhagavate
Namastubhyam
Namastubhyam
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Purushaya Mahatmane
Purushaya
Purushaya
Mahatmane
Mahatmane
Vasudevaya Krishnaya
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Krishnaya
Krishnaya
Tatvatam Pataye Namaha.
Satvatam
Tatvatam
Pataye
Pataye
Namaha.
Namaha.
So let's look at the meaning. Indra is saying, obeisances unto you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, the great soul, who are all pervading and who reside in the hearts of all. My obeisances unto you, Krishna, the chief of the Yadu dynasty. So it's a beautiful prayer that even we can recite every day in our prayers to Bhagavan Krishna. So I just wanted to begin with that prayer. And now let's look at today's story. I will also share Krishna book because there's a short version of the story of prayers by Indra, the king of heaven. And there's also, I kept open the actual Bhagavatam because this is the 10th canto and this is the 27th chapter. As you all can see, Lord Indra and Mother Surabhi offer prayers. So that is our story today, chapter 27 from canto 10. And interestingly, in the first verse, what is being said by Shukadev Goswami is that after Krishna had lifted Govardhan hill and thus protected the inhabitants of Raja from the terrible rainfall, Surabhi, the mother of cows, came from her planet to see Krishna, and she was accompanied by Indra. So it's mentioned by Prabhupada that this Surabhi cow is coming from a planet called Goloka. And that is not the Goloka of the spiritual world, but there is a material planet called Goloka, which is filled with exceptional cows. And Surabhi came from that planet to see Krishna along with Indra. But her mood was very joyful, whereas Indra's mood was very fearful. So this story is the story of Indra's seeking forgiveness from Krishna for the offense that he has done at the feet of Krishna. And that's why Indra was fearful when he approached Krishna. And it's said that uh, Indradev, he had a very obnoxious and offensive attack on Vrindavan. But Krishna had to adopt extraordinary measures to protect his Vrindavan associates from those attacks. Certainly, Indra was ashamed and also nervous about his future. And having acted improperly, he had fearfully gone to seek the shelter of to seek the shelter of Lord Brahma in the first place. And Brahma, who in turn ordered him to take along Surabhi cow from the material Goloka planet and go see Krishna and seek forgiveness. So here it's interestingly that, Indradev first of all approaches his immediate boss, Brahmadev, and then Brahmadev redirects him to go to Krishna, and in order to please Krishna, he said, on the way, take Surabhi cow with you so you can properly do Abhishek of Krishna. So that's how this story begins. And in the second verse, also interestingly, it is said that Indra was very ashamed of having offended the Lord. Approaching him in a solitary place, Indra fell down and lay his helmet, whose effulgence was as brilliant as the sun, upon the lotus feet of Krishna. So this story is very parallel to the story of Brahmadev stealing the calves and the cowherd boys from Krishna's Lila, from Krishna's playground, and then Brahma Vimohan Lila, we call it. So that in that also Brahmadev realized that he made an offense, and then he also in the similar way fell down at the lotus feet of Krishna with his helmet touching the ground. So here also Indradev, having sent the torrents of rains upon Vrindavan and almost destroying Vrindavan with the purpose of destroying the entire community, including this little boy, Krishna. His intention was completely baffled because it did not work out because Krishna lifted Govardhan. And it's interesting here, while approaching fearfully because of his offense, he understood who Krishna is. He's fearfully approaching, and he's approaching in a solitary place because it is mentioned in the purport that Krishna did not want to further offend him in front of others. And also because of his Yogamaya, this Vrindavan Vasis, they are not aware of this discussion between Indradev and Krishna. So it's a very secret meeting between Krishna and Indra. And in that way, Krishna is able to properly address Indra as well as not necessarily publicly chastising him. So it's a great story of, as I said in the beginning, it's a great story to see how to seek forgiveness and also how to forgive. This is a great example, illustration for us. So also, in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that from the commentaries of the Acharyas, we understand that Lord Krishna wanted to provide a solitary meeting for Indra so that he would not be further humiliated. Indra came to surrender and beg forgiveness, and the Lord allowed him to do so privately. So, when this is a very common scenario in this world, we observe it all the time on media or in our society or around ourselves, in our office, wherever we are, that whenever people get privileges, when people rise up in the ladder of control and management, and sometimes they get powers. Even in politics, is a common scenario. When the people become influential, then that power, that ability to control others, makes them intoxicated with arrogance, with pride. They become blind to the fact that there's always somebody superior to them, and they get powers from those superiors. They forget that. And this intoxication is even stronger than the intoxication by drugs. People take drugs, but this intoxication, which comes because of the power, because of the extra opulence, this intoxication in terms of pride and self-ego and the false ego. And uh, in Bhagavad Gita, in the 13th chapter, Krishna has given from verses 8 to 12 the definition of knowledge. And in that, he is very specifically saying these two things, amanitvam and adambhitvam, which means you do not hanker for extreme honor by other people, and you do not become proud about some. And adambhitva means even you don't become, sometimes people become proud about things that they don't even have, and they still brag about it. So that kind of thing, or just in general, not become proud of your own possessions. So these are called the symptoms of knowledge. And here Indradev is completely showing the lack of knowledge, because he has become proud and he has become arrogant. So this is the intoxication. And when we have these extra opulences or controls or powers, then people praise us, people will glorify, people worship the powerful people, and that's how they start thinking. Just like Indra, this is the great example how Indra started to think that he is great, because he was worshipped every year by the Vrajavasis with the yajna for his satisfaction, and he was given opulent bhoga. So he was thinking that, oh, I have been worshipped by these people, earthly people, and I am their master, I am their controller, because I do a very important job of sending the rains, and in absence of the rains, they will not be able to survive. So I am the reason for their survival, I am the reason for their prosperity. And in this way, this worship became the reason for his intoxication, the reason for his pride and false ego. And that exactly Krishna wanted to take away. And we saw, I don't know if we covered that part, but we did, I think, that how Krishna lifted, and how, what was the purpose of Krishna's stopping the worship of Indra, because he wanted to rectify this pride. So in this way, Krishna is in this story is humbling Indradev, and also he's glorifying Giriraj Govardhan for protecting the people, right? So now if we go to Krishna book, Indradev, so Indra begins to glorify Krishna, right? So because he approaches, he understands. And now Indra's, we will cover what prayers Indra did, and what were the contents of those prayers, what were the points, and what we can take from there. So he says, my dear Lord, being puffed up by my false prestige, I thought that you had offended me by not allowing the cowherd men to perform the Indra Yajna. And I thought that you wanted to enjoy the offerings that were arranged for me for the sacrifice. And I thought that in the name of Govardhan's sacrifice, you were taking my share of profit. And therefore, I mistook your position. Now, by your grace, I can understand that you are the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, and that you are transcendental to all material qualities. Your position is the position of beyond the mode of goodness which is found in this world, but your position is that of the Vishuddha Sattva, which is pure transcendental goodness. That is your position. And your name, your form, your fame, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes are all beyond this material nature, and they are never disturbed by the three modes of nature. So here's a very important point to understand from Indra's glorification prayers, that he is considering exactly Krishna as himself, because Indra is affected by the modes of nature. He is his mindset is that of that we find in this material world, and he is thinking that the other person is also of the same nature. So here the the modes of passion and ignorance, um, we can identify ourselves also in this kind of a situation, because in this material world there is always competition, and sometimes the idea is that by hurting another person, which means by bringing um, failure to another person, I can gain, I can become successful. That is the idea that is exercised many times in this corporate world, in the material world, in this politics. Everywhere you see, more or less, people are of that mentality because of the modes of passion, ignorance. They think that something, if I deprive another person of something, then I will be able to enjoy and gain. And that exactly Indra thought, that he thought that it is mine, it is my share, and this person who seems to be the little boy, he is exactly stealing my share, and he's depriving me, so I will deprive him of his community. And this kind of mentality is very much not useful in spiritual practices. If we want to become dear to Krishna, we want to become knowledgeable, then as per Bhagavad Gita also, these things have to be given up in a way that um, we can purify in a way that we should purify our minds and our buddhi intelligence. So after after Indra realizes that this person whom I was thinking about as of the similar mentality like mine is actually not so, because he is beyond this mentality of material world, because he's the Supreme Lord. And that's why none of these modes of nature, passion, ignorance, or even the material goodness, they are not affecting him. And because they're not affecting him, he is unchangeable. He is not affected by my abominable action of destroying him and his community. He is not destroyed, his community is not destroyed, and his mindset is also very peaceful and still very merciful. So and that's how he begins his prayers in this way. He says that your abode is accessible only for one who undergoes severe austerities and penances and becomes completely freed from the onslaught of material qualities like passion and ignorance. If someone thinks that when you enter within this world, you accept the modes of nature, then that person is mistaken. So he's understanding that he thought Krishna is under the modes of nature, but now he's saying that that's a mistake. And these waves of material qualities never touch you, and you certainly do not accept them when you are present in this world. Your lordship is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. So this is one wonderful realization of Indradev. Now, in the next paragraph, he says that I accept your authority to punish me. Okay, so let's read it. He says that, my dear Lord, you are the original father of this cosmic manifestation. You are the supreme spiritual master, and you are the original proprietor of everything. And as eternal time, you are competent to chastise offenders. And within this world, there are many fools like me who consider themselves to be supreme and all in all in this world. But you are so merciful that without accepting their offenses, you devise means so that their false prestige is subdued and they can know that you and no one else is the Supreme Lord. So here, the ability of Krishna to punish everybody, especially the offenders. And who are the offenders? Who do not accept Krishna's authority and who sometimes become so puffed up by their power that they want to become God. And for them, Krishna devises some plans in such a way that he teaches a lesson to them, but at the same time, Krishna does not hurt them. And that's the beauty of Krishna's teaching or chastising or punishing. So it's been what Indra is saying, that you are merciful. Even though when you are chastising, you are merciful, and you do not necessarily accept their offenses. You do not mm, um, chastise them forever. You do not condemn them forever for their offenses, but you forgive them. You forgive them in such a way that you teach them a lesson, but you make them humble and you take away their pride. So that is something that Indra realized for himself, and he is saying this in his glorification, so we can also learn a lesson from that. That this is the story of becoming humble, and also mm, how do we um, seek forgiveness, because we are all in this world, and we all are affected by modes of nature in different ways at different times, and we do make mistakes. It's very common. We do make mistakes. We do offend people sometimes. We make horrible mistakes sometimes against other people, and the only thing different that we can do as spiritual seekers is that to contemplate upon ourselves, and when we realize that is something I did which was not appropriate, which was not correct. It hurt the other person. I made a great offense at the feet of another person. So how do we seek forgiveness? We can use this example of Indra. First of all, what Indra is doing is that he has become very honest. He has become very genuine, and he's very clearly saying like what exactly is my mistake. He's not making a generalized statement. Or sometimes, for us, we say that, oh, I'm sorry that you misunderstood me. So even though we want to seek forgiveness, what we say, oh, that the other person has done something wrong, that's why this whole mistake happened or confusion happened. So somehow the other, we try to put again a blame on the other person, but that's not the way Indra is seeking forgiveness. He's taking full responsibility for his mistake. So as he said in the second paragraph, that you are merciful while accepting their offense, and you subdue their prestige, and they can know that you are the Supreme Lord. So this is the mercy of Krishna when Krishna is punishing. Because see, Indradev, he made the mistake. Now he got the punishment from Krishna, and now he has realized that how merciful is Krishna, how great is Krishna, how supreme personality of Godhead is Krishna. So all these realizations have come upon him only because Krishna mercifully allowed him to realize without hurting him, without destroying him. It's not that when Indra wanted to destroy Krishna, Krishna went and destroyed Indra. It's not like that. He revived him. In fact, he revived his heart, he revived his consciousness. And in fact, at the end, he says, now you go back and continue doing your kingdom, whatever you're doing as Indra, just continue doing that. Just improve, just make an improvement in your mistake. That's it. So this is, but when it comes to us, when we sometimes people when we want to hurt people in some ways, actually there's a lot of destruction, because sometimes people hurt other people by making them defamous, or stealing their wealth, or by hurtful words. So these things are permanent. They are not like the way Krishna or Indradev are operating here. Making mistakes is also not similar to Indradeva's mistakes, and forgiving is also not like Krishna. In this world, even we can forgive in such a, I mean, we are not that expert to forgive somebody the way Krishna forgives. The way Krishna forgives is uh, by great mercy. It's like a boon. It's like a blessing in disguise when Krishna rectifies or forgives somebody else, or even punishes and then rectifies somebody else, because Krishna's punishment is absolute, in the sense his chastisement, his punishment, and then his rectifying that person, they're all um, as good as Krishna's favor. So if Krishna is favoring the devotee and disfavoring a demon, they're both on the same platform. They're absolute. And in that process, no one is hurt forever. Only by Krishna's mercy, that person takes the punishment and realizes and moves on. So for devotees, when Krishna's favor is there, there is a great boon of returning back to the kingdom of Lord. But for demons, it is not up to that level, but they still have a very, they get mukti, they get liberation. So in the spiritual sense, there is a tremendous benefit even in Krishna's punishment. So that's the point Indra is making. Now in the next paragraph, Krishna says that Indra gives a very nice analogy. Okay, so he says, my dear Lord, you are the supreme father, the supreme spiritual master, and supreme king. So the three analogies Indra is giving. One is that he calls him supreme father. Then he says supreme spiritual master, supreme guru, and the supreme king. And therefore he says that you have the right to chastise all living entities whenever there is any discrepancy in their behavior. How? As the supreme father, you are taking the offense of your dependent devotees. As spiritual master, universal spiritual master, you are taking the offenses of your disciples in an easy way and teaching them very gently. And then as the supreme king, you are considering your offenders as your citizens, and then you are forgiving them. So he says that the father, the spiritual master, and the supreme executive officer of the state or the king are always well-wishers of their sons, their students, and their citizens respectively. And as such, the well-wishers have the right to chastise their dependents. So by your own desire, you appear auspiciously on earth in your eternal varieties of forms. You come to glorify the earth planet and specifically to chastise persons who are falsely claiming to be God. And in this world, there is regular competition between various living entities to become supreme. But when they become supreme, they claim to be God. And there are many such foolish personalities in the world like me. But in due course of time, when they come to their senses, they surrender unto you and again engage themselves properly by rendering service unto you. And that is the purpose of your chastising persons envious of you. So, Bhagavad Gita, it says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam. So here, dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Here Indra is saying exactly the same thing, that Krishna, you appear in this world to chastise these people who are envious of you, who are dushkrutinas, and who are claiming to be God in the sense that they want to become powerful, as just like you, like Hiranyakashipu wanted to be powerful as powerful as Vishnu. And so he says that you have a right to chastise them because you are very kind father to them, you are very kind guru to them, you are very kind administrator, king to them. So you see them always very affectionately. And even though you chastise them, they come to their senses and they surrender unto you and they continue their worship to you. So, and that is your purpose. That is your purpose. You just have to bring them back to their good position, original position, and that is all. And that's why you're always well-wishing. So anytime there are calamities on us, we say, why God did this to me? Why this has to happen to me only? In that situation, instead of blaming God, what we can remember is that this is what I needed. Somehow we have to try to understand, even though we may not be immediately convinced that yes, this is fine with me, this punishment is okay with me, we may not accept that, but in the back of our mind somewhere we can start thinking that yes, probably there is some lesson hidden in this calamity for us, and then find out what is that, what lesson Krishna is trying to teach me. And just like Indra's example, try to humbly accept that lesson in the form of the calamity, but at the same time continue worship of Krishna, saying that Krishna, I fully accept whatever you're doing to me. I don't know what mistake I did. Probably I don't remember, because that might be somewhere in the past, maybe past life. I don't know, but it's coming upon me. That's by your will, by your sanction, and there must be a reason in there. There must be a plan in there. There must be a lesson behind that. And please give me the wisdom to understand that, because we may not even understand on our own strength. So Krishna, please give me that strength and that wisdom to understand what's your plan, what's your lesson, what's your message to me in this calamity. And then I will accept it. I'll improve myself, my Lord. So this could be the mindset that we can adopt. And there's also a verse like that. Brahmadeva says, Tatte anukampam susamikshmanu bhunjana evatma krutam vipakam rudvaka vapurbhir vidhana namaste jivetayo muktipade sadaya bhav. So but with my mind, with my body, with my words, I will continue serving you, and then I will become much realized in whatever lesson you are sending to me. So in the next paragraph, Indra Dev says that, my dear Lord, I committed great offense unto your lotus feet, being falsely proud of my material opulences, not knowing your unlimited power. Therefore, my Lord, kindly excuse me, because I am fool number one. Kindly give me your blessings so that I may not act so foolishly again. If you think, my Lord, that the offense is very great and cannot be excused, then I appeal to you that I am your eternal servant, my Lord. You appear in this world to protect your servants and to destroy demons who maintain great military strength and burden the earth. So, since I am your eternal servant, you please kindly excuse me. So, in this way, Indra is very directly accepting his offense. And he's very specifically saying what mistake he did. He's not making a global, generalized statement, confusing statement, or anything like that. So this is the way to seek forgiveness. This is a great example of how do you seek forgiveness when you actually honestly feel that you need to seek forgiveness from someone else. Indra said that I became puffed up and it was my mistake. And now he is also seeking direct forgiveness, saying that, please excuse me, please forgive me. But if you think that I did such a blunder that you cannot even excuse me, my Lord, if that's the case, I still appeal to you that I am your eternal servant. And just remembering that, again, please reconsider forgiving me. So it's a very sweet way of saying. And I think Brahmadev gave him some tips as to how do you approach Krishna, how do you, beg pardon from Krishna, because Brahmadev had experience before. So, so that's how Indra is very, very sweetly saying that even if you can forgive, again, please reconsider. I'm your eternal servant, and please excuse me. So that's a great example. And ultimately, he's surrendering. He says, yes, I surrender. So I think in the next paragraph, he's saying that, my dear Lord, you are the Supreme Lord, and I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because you are the Supreme Person and the Supreme Soul. And you are the son of Vasudeva, and you are the Supreme Lord, Krishna, the master of all pure devotees. And please accept my prostrated obeisances. You are the personification of supreme knowledge. And you can appear anywhere according to your desire in any one of your eternal forms. You are the root of all creation and the supreme soul of all living entities. But due to my gross ignorance, I created a great disturbance in Vrindavan by sending torrents of rain and heavy hailstorm. I acted out of severe anger caused by your stopping the sacrifice which was to be held to satisfy me. But, my dear Lord, you are so kind to me that you have bestowed your mercy upon me by destroying all my false pride. And I therefore take shelter of your lotus feet. My dear Lord, you are not only the supreme controller, but also the spiritual master of all living entities. It's a beautiful, beautiful realization, because Indra Dev is surrendering unto the Lord. And he's saying that this punishment you have given me is actually a great fortune and a blessing for me, because you're very kind and you have bestowed this mercy by destroying my pride. And no one else in this world, in Indra's world also, could have done this task of destroying his pride. People, in general, even though people have shortcomings, the other people glorify them because of their personal motives, personal benefits. But nobody will come and say, hey, wait a minute, you did this mistake. This is something you need to improve upon. Only your best well-wisher would do that. But sometimes people don't realize who's the best well-wisher, and even if the best well-wisher is telling them, they don't pay attention. But in case of Indra, he's saying that, my lord, you are my best well-wisher, and that's why you have done something which no one else would do. You have pointed out my mistake, you have punished me, and you have taken away my pride, which nobody would be able to take away my pride. People would only praise me for their personal benefits, and whenever they are done with their benefits, they would leave me. Who will come and correct me? Only because you are my guru, you are my supreme spiritual master. That's why you're doing it. And same mood for us also. Whenever we are in spiritual journey, all the time we consider Krishna as our Chaitya Guru, as the person supreme, as the super soul within the heart who is guiding us in every moment. So we have to make our specific prayers to Krishna, saying that, Krishna, you give me margadarshan, you give me guidance every minute, every day, every step of my life. And that would make Krishna happy, because we are willing to accept his guidance. So in this way, at the end, it comes to kind of a conclusion of his prayers, that thus praised by Indra, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, smiled beautifully and then replied in a brave voice like a rumbling cloud. So this paragraph is about Krishna's reciprocation or reply or response to Indra's prayer. He says that, my dear Indra, I stopped your sacrifice just to show you my causeless mercy. Please, can you please mute? Thank you. Okay. So what Krishna is responding? He said that I stopped your sacrifice just to show you my causeless mercy and to remind you that I am your eternal master. I am the master not only of you, but of all other demigods as well. And you should always remember that all your material opulences are due to my mercy. No living entity can independently become opulent. One must be favored by my mercy. Everyone should always remember that I am the Supreme Lord. I can show anyone my favor and I can chastise anyone, because no one is superior to me. If I find someone overpowered by false pride, in order to show him my causeless mercy, I withdraw all his opulences. So Krishna is saying that I had nothing to do with your bhoga. I was not even interested. Why would I be interested? But I did this only because I want to show you that I am the master and you are my servant. And in that way, I'm bringing you closer to me. By this punishment, you are coming closer to me. And remember that anything we get in this world is always my mercy. So even for us, we have a tiny amount of wealth, a tiny amount of beauty, a tiny amount of power, prestige, strength, knowledge. Everything we have to remember is actually coming from Krishna. This is a gift Krishna has given us. This is a temporary gift. It can be taken away, and with the end of life, it can go away. So remembering this will bring us humility. With a humble mood, we can utilize these opulences in Krishna's service, in the service of other people, for good causes, for the service of our nation, for the service of community. Whatever we are doing, even in the business, like, it's not necessarily that you only do volunteer service to others, but even in business, when we in our job, wherever we have qualities, good qualities, and we can always make use of them for the right purpose, for the good purpose of our own and others, for welfare of everyone. And with that mood, we can properly utilize Krishna's gifts, and also remember where the gifts are coming. So there could be a very systematic and regular expression of gratitude to Krishna in our prayers. We can make them into daily prayers. We can teach our children this prayers of gratitude, and just being grateful for everything that we have got in this life from Krishna. And that will really make us humble, that will make us joyful, because then we have no fear, because we know that this is given to us by Krishna and no one can take it away from us. So we become very confident in that way. So now a very important point at the end, Krishna says that in order to show this person my causeless mercy, I withdraw all his opulences. So sometimes there are stories, even in our Bhagavatam, there are stories like that. I think the 11th canto, the story of the Brahmana, I think Aila Gita, I don't remember exactly the name, but this Brahmana was a great opulent Brahman, and Krishna took away everything from him. And he then later on, he had such a great realization, and he sings this Aila Gita. It is a very beautiful realization in a very similar way, that why Krishna took away everything, because that's a great mercy. I mean, it's hard to realize. I have worked with people who have lost everything, and they were at the top of their opulent life, and then everything is lost. And sometimes I spend some time with them, teaching them that please see this as an opportunity to spiritually progress. And it's hard for them. It takes a lot of time for them to accept that this is a great mercy, this is a great blessing. They say we lost everything, how can we be thankful to Krishna, how can we be thankful to God? But for people who are spiritually inclined, they are in the spiritual journey, in the association of devotees, we are able to realize this. I mean, I don't wish that this would happen to anybody, but we can learn from the stories of other people how they lose. But sometimes there's a great blessing in disguise. Anything, even any negative situation that we have, any calamities we have, there could be a great blessing, because spiritual blessing has nothing to do with material conditions. And that's how. So after instructing Indra, Krishna asked him to return to his kingdom in the heavenly planets, and to remember always that he's never supreme, but is always subordinate to the Supreme Lord. He also advised him to remain as the king of heaven, but to be careful of false pride. So Krishna is very kind. He did not fire Indra from his post and say, go to hell now, suffer in the hell as a worm for many hundreds and thousands of years. No, he said, yeah, it's a mistake. I forgive you. So this is also a great example. When our kids, when our subordinates make mistakes, how can we forgive them gently, mercifully, as well-wishers, very straightforwardly, but at the same time lovingly correct them and forgive them and forget and move on and allow them to continue. So this is a beautiful example. And after this, the Surbi cow, there's a description of Surbi cow, how they decide now that we're going to do Abhishek of Krishna. So this cow, who is a transcendental cow, who had come with Indra to see Krishna, offered her respects and worshipped him. Then Surbi offered her prayers also. So there's a whole paragraph on Surbi Devi's, cow's prayers to Krishna. And then she bathed Krishna with her milk, and Indra bathed with the water of the celestial Ganges through the trunk of his carrier elephant. So Airavat, he came on Airavat. So Airavat picked up the celestial Ganga water and threw it on Krishna's lotus head to abhishek him. After this, Surbi cows and all demigods and their mothers joined heavenly King Indra in worshipping Krishna by bathing him with Ganges water and milk of the Surbis. And thus, Govinda, Lord Krishna, was pleased with all of them. And I wanted to bring to your attention this one. I mean, I'm reading the Krishna book, but in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is this, at the end, I think it is, let's see, I think it's the, towards the end, I don't know which exactly is the verse number. I forgot to, oh yeah, here it is. Verses 23 and 22 and 23. I'll read the English translation because I didn't practice the Sanskrit. So this is, Shukadev Goswami says that having this appealed to Lord Krishna, Mother Surabhi performed his bathing ceremony with her own milk, and Indra, ordered by Aditi and other mothers of demigods, anointed the Lord with heavenly Ganga water from the trunk of Indra's elephant carrier Airavat. Thus, in the company of the demigods and great sages, Indra coronated Lord Krishna, the descendant of the Sharha and gave him the name Govinda. So this is the event where Indra um, is bestowing the name Govinda upon Krishna, because the presence of cows also, and because Krishna has rectified him and by giving him pleasure. So that what Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, that according to the acharyas, because Indra was embarrassed by his blunders of attacking Vrindavan, he was reluctant to worship the Lord. Therefore, the heavenly mothers, such as Aditi, encouraged him to go ahead and do so. Feeling authorized by the encouragement of demigods less offensive than he, Indra then bade the Lord. Indra discovered that the beautiful cowherd boy named Krishna is indeed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada mentions that he gave him the name Govinda. So we can see that the word Govinda probably became more, the name became prominent because of this story of Indra. I mean, the Govinda name is always ever existent, but it appears that he kind of reiterated the name again to Krishna, for Krishna, because of this story that happened just now. And so in this way, after satisfying the Lord, um, who is the Lord of all cows in Vrindavan and is known as Govinda, King Indra took his permission to return to his heavenly kingdom, and he was surrounded by all the demigods, and they all learned from him, and in this way the glories of Krishna were spread all over the planetary systems. So in this way, this is a beautiful description of Indradeva's glorification of Bhagwan Krishna. And yeah, so this is my humble presentation. I wanted to see how if you have any comments or any question or anything that would like to add from our previous sessions, anything that appealed to you, any part that you would like to discuss further. So please, I open the floor for you. And Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So I wanted to know if this story, how do you see this story as useful in our practical life? Has anybody experienced seeking forgiveness? Has anybody experienced forgiving our subordinates, and bringing humility, or just being well-wisher of that person who has made a great offense against us? And has anybody tried these things, or anybody has any realization, especially on this topic of forgiveness and being humble?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanma Pranama Guru Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice to hear. I actually joined late, but the last segment actually explains a lot. And very nice to see you also after long. I was remembering you the other day.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not in the perfect Vaishnava because I just came from office, so I just sat down.
Mataji, no, it's your mercy seat is very effective lecture. Whatever you're doing, but you're in that consciousness which is reflecting in your lectures, and it's like giving us that great opportunity to hear about
kind words.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, I think what I feel in journal, it's as we are in the material world, we tend to get lost in the Maya. Like no matter what we do, whether we are home, our mind goes away, and then how to equip ourselves with the tools that Shri Prabhupada has given us by listening, chanting, and being in association. But I also feel when we have a lot of challenges mentally, also, I feel like when we have people around who are not Krishna consciousness, they they don't regard, and it's been a lot of years of practice, you understand the essence of it, and then when they don't, as you said, that being humble, I think being tolerant for 10 years or 15 years or so, and like you feel like what, where, you start doubting sometimes, or then if you don't have a doubt, you start complaining to Krishna, or when you don't complain, sometimes you have that kind of, you know, time when you burst out, because we are actually a human being in that. And
Yeah.
my realization is that if I anchor myself every morning, in the morning when I start my day around
Mm,
3:30 or 4, whenever I like, I feel like that really helps, because being anchored every day in the morning, you put your attention like how I'm going to. Basically, you're treating yourself first of all.
mm,
You are connecting yourself with the Lord, and you are having a really good relationship with Him. So once you build that, on the basis of that, I feel that I think that is very effective. Very
mhm,
effective. We begin the day, and if some flaws you have, which I sometimes like, do, then that Krishna conscious within tells you, tells us, oh, I did this wrong. Then I, by mentally, I revert that action and
mm,
do it positively.
mm,
Or if I'm consciously did it, and I know immediately in a minute I will apologize, if I have been rude to talk, or maybe
mm,
like thinking something negative sometimes, then immediately I revert that thought in my mind, and I say it, no, I did thought about this. No, let me revert with everything. So at the end of the day also, if I also being very thankful and grateful to the Lord for
mm,
giving me one more day to remember and do some service for Him. But if
mm,
I have forgotten, I review all my actions from the morning till the end, and if I miss any place where I don't remember, I start remembering Him in my mind, and then I sleep.
mm, mm, mm. That's a great practice, and thank you for sharing your practice and benefits that you get from there. Because everybody who's hearing can also feel inspired to follow, and what you really experience is the peace of mind, because at the beginning of the day you are strengthening with your spiritual practice, and then at the end of the day you are reviewing your mistakes or your shortcomings. You're trying to understand how we can improve. So at the end of the day you have peace of mind, because you have nothing to blame others. You have nothing to hanker upon or lament about. um, that peace of mind is something that only devotees can experience, really.
Yes, Mataji, and right now also it's also the same thing. What's happening? You are asking a question,
Hmm.
and we are sharing our realization. This is also something in association we are understanding each other right now, and feeling very good, like, oh, someone can understand, someone can give me more insight about it. So
Hmm.
like, talking to a friend, like this
Absolutely,
has
yeah.
happened, that happened. So it's just
100%.
good to talk like this in this forum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an open space, as even if we have any questions, or you doubt yourself, or how you, yeah, absolutely. We can open up, and it's a safe place. Yeah. Thank you for
Thank you, Mataji.
that.
Then
Amrutanand Prabhu is raising their hand, so you want to
Oh,
answer.
sure. Go ahead, please. Yeah, I'm sorry. Do I have to do anything about it?
Hare
He raised.
Krishna Mataji, please
Hi,
accept
Krishna
humble
Vaidana.
obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Excellent class. My question is regarding this instructions that we get, and sometimes it is conflicting. So in this particular Leela of Indra
Mm, mm,
is, the compassion.
mm,
He, like, I mean, they say that even in the regular material world, praise in public, chastise in private.
mm, mhm,
So fine, we can get this lesson from this particular Leela. Now, but at the same time, other Leelas, like Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself,
mm,
when his associate just glanced at Mataji
mhm,
in the wrong way,
mhm,
he chastised him publicly and banished him from his company. The punishment was also very public.
Mm-hmm.
So now here there is, in one instance with Indra. The other thing is, Bhrigu Muni kicked Krishna on his chest, or Vishnu. He didn't take offense because personally we hear that Krishna, doesn't take offense to himself, but to his devotees. He is really furious. So when he kicked him, and the same thing in Gaur Lila, he called for a Sudarshan Chakra to kill Madai. So, these things seem apparently contradictory. So, how do we understand that it is not, how do I say this? It's not uniform. And then based on that, how do we do? Like this morning, I was reading, these little snippets come on the internet. So one of Prabhupada's disciple was telling a pastime of Prabhupada, like in the 70s, Indra Gandhi had enforced emergency, and she was almost like the supreme ruler, a dictator. So they asked, what would be your advice to Indra Gandhi? And Prabhupada says that, there were these people who were hoarding food, all the banyas and whatever, and driving the price up while people were dying. And he says that they should be hung publicly, make examples of them. So where do we apply chastisement when it is to send a message? And when do you do it in private? Because
Right.
Krishna has done both.
Yeah, so my understanding is that Krishna's Leelas are unlimited and they're in different ways he does. So his purposes are different in different times. So what I'm understanding here is that when he is chastising publicly, when Mahaprabhu is chastising publicly, it's not a lesson just for that person. It's not just lesson for Chotaharidas, but he wants to teach a lesson to a lot of other people at the same time. And that's how he does it. But even at the end, it is understood by everybody that Mahaprabhu ultimately was merciful upon Chota Haridas because he got the Gandharva body and actually he used to come and sing to Mahaprabhu every night. So my understanding is that the openly or publicly chastising and punishing was only to teach a lot of people at the same time, and in the society, in the community, make some disciplinary process, because it was important for his movement that the sannyasis remain strict. And I think every time the purpose of the Leela could be slightly different. So in case of Indra, it wasn't that he wanted to teach a similar lesson to a host of demigods. It was only Indra. So that's why it was private. So in our case also, I would say, depending upon our role, who we are, we could choose to, or we could decide whether to privately chastise one person or to publicly, because it depends on the responsibility of our role. So if I'm a teacher and I uh, cannot forgive this person because it will affect 100 different students, then it is okay to say it publicly, because that way, I put a discipline and I teach a lesson to a lot of people at the same time. Because of my role as a teacher, I have a higher, bigger responsibility. But if it's something a smaller or a personal kind of offense which that person particularly has to learn, then I could make it a little private and just talk to the person or to the student. And so my point is, even at home, like say it's only a child, you want to teach your child, so you don't have to say it in a like a group of people. You don't have to chastise your child in a group of people, because that won't serve any purpose. So again, the purpose if is just depending upon your role and responsibility. That's my humble understanding. But if anybody else is a better, I mean, you yourself, if you have a better understanding, or if anybody else, please share that.
So Mataji, the thing is that in the Shastra, there are so many instructions,
Mm,
and at times they seem to be contradictory.
mm,
And how do we, because end of the day is we need to, instructions are meant to practice.
mm.
So,
So
what
in
to
that
apply
way,
when, that becomes tricky at times.
yeah, no, in that context, I actually heard Chaitanya Charan Prabhu saying, you have to look at three aspects, one is the content, one is the intent, and one is the consequence. So if you see contradictions, um, it may be useful to see what is the content in each situation and what is the intent behind that, because the intent can be different, and then what is the outcome. So I think based on that, we might be able to say, how do we reconcile the contradictions? Is that helpful?
Yeah, it makes sense. So what we're talking about is on a case-to-case basis. I mean, it's not a one-size-fit-all kind of a situation. So like Indra wanted to kill the Brajvasis, which in this case, Gaur Lila, they broke the pot on his devotee, Nityanand Prabhu's head. And that's where that fury was there. But in this case, there is forgiveness. And okay, content, intent, and consequence. That's very nice, Mataji.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I wonder if we could stop here. Is anybody else has to share anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank
Hare
you for
Krishna.
us. So, thank you, dear devotees, for associating with this beautiful, beautiful section. Today is a very special day, as mentioned. Today is Naraka Chaturdashi. This is the day Supreme Lord killed, actually mentioned that his own son, Narakasura, or called Bhaumasura. Bhaumasura is the son of Mother Earth, Bhumi, in one sense. And yeah, that's the truth. But had to kill because of all these atrocities, all the abominable activities doing against every living entity, everybody. Even though Naragasura was the son of Lord, but due to the association of Banasura, became completely changed. These are all telling us and teaching us so wonderful lessons from each of everything, all the aspects. So beautiful. And that also marks on this day. Tomorrow is Diwali, Deepavali. Beautiful, beautiful pastimes manifested that you can see that in the background picture. Mother Yashoda binding Krishna is happening tomorrow. Where's Mataji? So somebody, I mean, devotees of, initially when the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they painted these pictures. And you cannot see anywhere else in the world such a beautiful picture. Because of it's mentioned that they draw this picture out of their devotion. So beautiful. So, so tomorrow is the day, and I wish you all a very happy Diwali in advance. So please also we have depends, and I requested a speaker to speak tomorrow, and if the speaker is not available, then we will cancel the class because of tomorrow is Diwali. I would humbly request everybody, please be with your family, do the puja, and also lighting up the lamp and all those things, right? So please do so. And then, so this way we all can, part of this wonderful, wonderful section. Then Friday also is actual day of Govardhan Puja, which is Mataji was mentioning this. We were going through this wonderful pastimes of the Govardhan Puja. This was actually happened. That is actual days on Friday. So we will be having a big celebration on a Sunday at the temple, and we would humbly request every one of you, please bring or register for some of the items that you can cook and bring for Krishna. So in the previous class, it was mentioned that how to worship Govardhan. It's so nice. Krishna says that those who are around, those who are in Vrindavan, everybody should worship, participate in Govardhan Puja. You should bring and cook varieties of juices and vegetables and curries, pakoras, sweets, all varieties of. All right, that's the way Govardhan to be worshipped. Then that to be distributed after that. Everybody, not only to the human, even to the cows, even to the dogs, even whoever is there, even birds, this should be distributed and give it out. You know what? Finally, Krishna says that those who are not participating in this puja, they will have a snake bite. I was wondering why Krishna said that. That means, Acharya has mentioned that snake bite means that they will influence, affected by the material bite or material maya's influence. So that's why these opportunities we should utilize properly. So offering, cooking bhoga to the lordships, bringing an offering and distribute it out, and also offering charity on this time. Brahmanas, devotees, it's very, very powerful. And Krishna was recommending this to Nanda Baba. Give charity to the Brahmanas. Bring Brahmanas to offer the prayers and give them charity. All this beautiful, wonderful thing. So thank you so much. And that's on Sunday. If you have not, put your name for any of the item to be, booked, please do so. This is a wonderful opportunity, dear devotees, as Govardhan is Krishna himself. And if we could see that when the devotees brought all this bhoga, Krishna took the form as a Govardhan, and Krishna was taking everything. Anayor, right? Bring me more. And finally, devotees and everybody was bringing more and more and more. Everything is disappearing. Finally, put a tulasi, then Krishna was satisfied. And then after that, Krishna returned everything. And then they were distributing everything to the Brajavasis. Wonderful. So thank you so much. Anything else before we go to the Damodara Ashtaka? Anybody would like to add anything? It's a beautiful
Prabhuji, I
thing.
missed the Google stuff somehow, that message. So I have not found that. I was looking, somebody told me, but I could not find it.
Which message, Mataji?
The Google message to cook for the Sunday.
Google Sheet. Okay, in the WhatsApp group is there, Mataji. It's a Google Sheet actually.
It's in Google Sheet.
Yeah, so in the WhatsApp group, I sent the Jabathon. There is a link. Mataji sent it out.
Japathan, maybe by mistake I have
Deleted it. Okay, we'll post it again. Yes.
Okay, so that way I can sign up.
Yeah, no problem. We'll post it again. Okay.
Thank
you.
Prabhu.
And we will go for the Damodara Ashtaka. Mataji, you want to sing? Govindandini Mataji.
Prabhuji, please forgive me because I just came from office. So I have to really get back to my work.
Okay, who else is there?
Forgive me.
Sachirani Mataji, you want to sing? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay.
Please let me
Yes,
then
sir.
share.
I'm really seek forgiveness because I have to attend to Neil. Actually, he's busy.
Okay.
I have to go. Sorry.
No problem,
Hare
Mataji. Please
Krishna,
go.
please
Thank you
accept
so
my
much.
humble obeisance. Jai
Thank you.
Prabhupada.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Going to share this so that go ahead, Mataji. You can see.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
नममीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपम् लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले प्रशमानम्
Namamishwaram
नमामीश्वरं
Satchidanandrupam
सच्चिदानन्दरूपम् लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले प्रचमानम्
यशोदाभियोलुखलाधवमानम् परं हृष्टमतियन्त्यतो धृत्यगोप्या
विशुदाभियोलुकलाघवमानम् परामृष्टमत्यन्तो धृत्यगोप्या
रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रं युगं मृजन्तम् करं भोजयुगमेन सताङ्कनेत्रम्
युतन्दं मुहुर्नेत्रयुग्मं मृचन्दम् कराम्भोजयुग्मेन सादङ्गनेत्रम्
मुहुश्वासकाम्पात्रिरेखककान्ता स्थिता ग्रैव दामोदरं भक्तिबद्धम्
मुहुश्वासकान्तारेककण्ठा स्थितग्रैवं दामोदरं भक्तिबद्धम्
इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् अख्यपयन्तम्
इति दृक्सलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् अख्यापयन्तम्
तदीयेष्वितनेषु भक्तजितत्वम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सत्ता वृत्तिवन्दे
श्रीदासेषु भक्तयुक्तिदम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं सदा वृत्तिवन्दे
वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वदिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरेशाद् अपीह
वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं वरिं वा न चान्यं परे सदपीह
इदं ते वा पुरनाथ गोपालपालम् सदा मे मनसा विरष्टं किमन्ये
Idam te vapurunata gopalabalam sada me manasa
मनस्याविष्टं
prashtamkimanye.
मन्ये
इदं ते मुखं भोजम् अत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुन्तले स्निग्धा रक्तश्च गोप्या
Idam
इदं
te
ते
mukham
मुखं
bojam
यन्दनीले
atyantanile vritam
वृतं
kundale snigdha
कुन्दलस्य गोप्या
raktasya.
मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्ब रक्तधरं मे मनसा विरष्टं मालं लक्षलाभे
Mushtumbitam
मुहुश्चुम्बितं
bimba
बिम्बारकाधरं
raktasaranne
मनस्या
manasa
विराष्टं
virashtam
मालं
malam.
लक्षलाभे
नमो देवदामोदरानन्तविष्णु प्रसिद्धा प्रभो दुःखजलाब्धिमाग्नम्
नमो
Namo
देव
Devadamoda
दामोदर नन्द
Ananda
विष्णु
Vishnu
प्रसीद
Prasida
प्रभो दुःख
Prabhu
जलाब्धिमाग्नम्
Bhaktimagnam.
कृपादृष्टिवृष्टियाति बतानु गृहाणेषु मामत्यम् इति यक्षिदृश्य
कृपा
Kripa Drishti Vrishyati
दृष्ट्यादि दीनं
Dinam
ददानो
Bhagavano
गृहाणि
Grihane
क्षमापस्यम् एतत्सीदृश्य
कुबेरात्मजाौ बद्धा मूर्तैव यद्वत् त्वया मोक्षितौ भक्ति भाजौ कृतौ च
कुबेरात्मजो दैव यद्वा त्वया चिदो भक्ति वाचोदृता
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वाकं मे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेऽस्ति तामुदरेह
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं शोकमे प्रयच्छ नमो गोमेष्टि
नमस्तेऽस्तु धाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय विश्वस्य धाम्ने
नमस्तेऽस्तु धाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदराय विश्वास्य धाम्ने
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नान्तलीलाय देवयतुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय
नमो
नमो
लीला
नान्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीया प्रियायै नमो नान्तलीलाय देवयतुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकाय त्वदीयप्रियाय नमो नान्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यम्
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
श्री श्री दामोदर अष्टकम की जय
जय
हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. We can start to read the translation one by one, devotees. Please go ahead, unmute yourself.
To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose sharp-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Shri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances.
Yeah.
seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eye again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with the fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with the three lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with the robes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisance.
Yeah. Third one.
By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times.
Fourth one. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation. nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopala in Vrindavana may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me any other boon besides this? Fifth one.
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of yours, lotus face, be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of more other benedictions are of no use to me.
Sixth one. Any other devotee?
I can read. O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of the soft black hair tinged with the red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yasoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me.
Yeah. Sixth one. Anybody else?
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisance unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me by showering your glance of mercy upon me. Deliver this poor ignorant fool who is the immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrow and become visible to my eyes.
O Lord Damodara, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as baby tied with a rope to a wooden grinding mortar. In the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. Only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. Last one.
O Lord
Oh,
Damodara. Oh, somebody read. I already
Please.
oh no,
said.
Mataji, go ahead.
Now
O
I have
Lord,
said.
O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, dear devotees. Wish you all a happy Diwali again. And I'll post that about the class tomorrow. Otherwise, we will see you on next Monday. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy
Happy
Diwali
Diwali, everybody.
Happy Diwali.
to everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.